I definitely won't make it without you. This is the worst job, I guarantee you.
Todd Hoffman's journey is filled with towering ambitions, massive risks, and painful disappointments. He chased after the unfinished dream of his father and ended up becoming one of the main faces of Gold Rush. Millions saw his struggles and victories on television, but away from the cameras, Todd faced money troubles, harsh judgment, and choices that tested him deeply. So grab a seat and a drink as we unfold the emotional and heartbreaking story of Todd Hoffman from Gold Rush. Early life and dreams of gold.
Guys at fair play, they're carrying the ball right now. We gotta get...
Todd Hoffman was born on April 12, 1969 in Sandy, Oregon. He grew up in a modest town with his parents and siblings, where his father, Jack Hoffman, had the biggest influence on his life. Jack was known for business, but he also carried an adventurous streak. In the 1980s, Jack tried gold mining in Alaska. That attempt failed to bring fortune, but it left a lasting impression on young Todd. Todd often spoke about how he respected his father's courage to chase a dream with so much uncertainty. Even though Jack returned without gold, the desire to strike it rich never fully left the Hoffman family. Todd's upbringing was strongly shaped by Christian faith and family values. These beliefs stayed with him, and during the show, he often mentioned how prayer and faith gave him strength through the highs and lows of mining. As a student, Todd wasn't top of the class, but he was curious and full of imagination. Instead of following a traditional career path, he always looked toward big opportunities that could change his life. After finishing school, he tried college for a time, but never locked into a steady profession. Instead, he experimented with different jobs and small ventures, searching for the right path. His most serious effort before Gold Rush was in aviation. He started a business in Oregon, leasing planes and offering charter flights. For a while, the company showed promise, but when the 2008 financial crash hit, the aviation market collapsed. Todd lost his business, fell into heavy debt, and struggled to provide for his wife and children. In that difficult moment, Todd's mind went back to the stories of gold mining his father once shared. He believed times had changed. Better technology, stronger machines, and the right crew could make success possible. To him, mining wasn't just about money. It was about proving himself, reviving a family vision, and finding hope after failure. By his late 30s, Todd made the riskiest decision of his life, to leave behind safer options and enter the uncertain world of gold mining. That leap would soon place him right at the heart of reality television. Career struggles before fame. Long before Todd Hoffman became a familiar face on Gold Rush, his life was marked by repeated struggles to find a stable career. Like many young men, he spent years searching for something solid, but most of his efforts ended in frustration. In his early years, Todd worked regular jobs to get by, but he was never satisfied with just collecting a paycheck. Deep down, he wanted something larger, a venture he could truly build. Over the years, Todd explored different industries, chasing ideas that he thought might grow into lasting success. His most ambitious step came when he entered aviation. In Oregon, he launched a company that leased planes and offered charter flights. At first, it felt like the right move. Aviation gave him independence and seemed to hold great potential, but it was also an industry heavily tied to the global economy. When the worldwide financial crash of 2008 struck, the aviation business was hit hard. Fewer people were flying, costs were climbing, and small companies like Todd's couldn't survive. The collapse left him with serious debts and very few options. This was the hardest blow he had ever faced, but it wasn't his only failure. Long before aviation, Todd had experimented with other small business ideas. Some lacked funding, others faced stiff competition, and none of them grew into lasting stability. By his late 30s, Todd was at one of the lowest points in his life. His savings were gone, his family relied on him, and he had no clear plan forward. In interviews, he admitted feeling cornered, knowing he had to provide for his wife and children, yet unsure how to recover. Still, those failures shaped him. They taught him what it meant to risk everything and lose. So when the idea of gold mining returned to his mind, it was not just an adventurous dream. For Todd, it was a last chance to rebuild his life and finally chase the success that had always escaped him. The big leap into gold mining.
Hey Todd, the big trommel's down. It's completely frozen. We can't run it anymore.
After his aviation company collapsed in the year 2008, Todd Hoffman was left nearly broke, carrying debt, and desperate to support his family. In this dark period, he began recalling the stories his father, Jack Hoffman, once shared about gold mining in Alaska. Jack's attempt in the 1980s had failed, but the dream had never completely died. This time, Todd decided to take it seriously. He believed that with better machinery, modern tools, and the right people beside him, he could succeed where his father had fallen short. It was no easy decision. Gold mining is among the riskiest industries in the world, with no guarantee of success. But Todd saw it as his one real chance to turn everything around. By the year 2010, he began putting together a crew. Most of them were not professional miners. They were his friends and men he trusted, but they shared his courage to take a gamble. Together, they sold what they could, gathered resources, and prepared for the unknown. Their first big stop was Porcupine Creek, Alaska, where they set up their mining camp. Their bold step caught the eye of the Discovery Channel. At that time, the network was developing a new reality show centered on modern gold miners, and Todd's story fit perfectly. A group of ordinary men leaving behind regular lives to chase gold. It was exactly the kind of drama the show needed. By the end of 2010, the series premiered as Gold Rush, Alaska, later shortened to Gold Rush. What started as a desperate gamble soon turned into the opportunity of a lifetime. Todd Hoffman was no longer just a failed businessman. Overnight, he became the leader of a mining crew on national television, with millions of viewers tuning in to see whether his daring leap into gold would end in fortune or heartbreak. Gold Rush, Todd Hoffman's breakthrough.
Don't try to criticize
I'm not criticizing you.
Yeah, you are.
I told you that.
When Gold Rush, Alaska premiered on the Discovery Channel in December 2010, Todd Hoffman immediately stood out as one of the show's main figures. Viewers were introduced to him as the man leading a group of ordinary workers who left behind their day-to-day lives to try gold mining in Alaska. Unlike seasoned miners, Todd and his team had little real experience, which made their attempt both dangerous and fascinating for audiences. From the very beginning, Todd's role was clear. He was the one who convinced his friends to take the leap, pulled together money for machinery, and shouldered the pressure when things went wrong. Their first season was filled with setbacks and mistakes, yet Todd's drive to take bold risks kept him at the center of attention. The gamble worked in a way he never expected. The show became a hit after its first season, drawing in millions of viewers who were hooked by the story of modern-day miners risking everything to strike gold. For many fans, Todd's background, coming off the failure of his aviation business and betting everything on a new start, made him relatable. His willingness to put it all on the line for one last chance at success gave the show its emotional weight. As the seasons rolled on, Todd led his crew to different mining grounds in Alaska, Guyana, Oregon, and Colorado. His journey, filled with ups and downs, created some of the most talked-about storylines on Gold Rush. While critics often mocked his lack of mining knowledge, supporters admired his persistence and the way faith guided his decisions. In the end, Todd Hoffman became one of Discovery Channel's breakout personalities, and his leadership helped turn Gold Rush into one of the most watched reality shows on television in its early years. Leading the crew and facing challenges.
This didn't just spring up, it's been coming for.
Being the leader of his mining team meant that Todd Hoffman carried the heaviest load. He was the one who persuaded the crew to leave behind steady jobs and family life, promising that if they stuck together, the gamble could transform their futures. His crew included his father, Jack Hoffman, close friends, and a handful of others who trusted him enough to take the plunge. Most of them had little knowledge of mining, which only made the challenge greater. From the start, many questioned Todd's ability to lead. On one side, he was energetic, determined, and willing to take chances others would shy away from. He often motivated his team with talks about faith, unity, and perseverance, keeping spirits up even when disasters hit. On the other side, his choices often caused setbacks, moving too quickly to new sites, buying equipment that broke down, or setting goals that proved impossible to reach. Season after season, the group faced crushing obstacles, machines breaking down, harsh conditions, missed targets, and constant financial stress. Rumors spread that some crew members doubted Todd's leadership and thought about quitting. A few openly criticized him, calling him a dreamer instead of a strategist. Yet deep down, they also realized that without Todd's vision, there would be no operation at all. Still, Todd managed to hold the team together for years. He leaned on his father Jack for wisdom, and he often turned to his faith to stay strong when everything seemed against him. The crew did manage to pull gold from the ground, but the road was never easy. Each season brought fresh problems that tested not only Todd's leadership, but also the loyalty of those who followed him.
Well, they've seen, that jungle, going to the jungle wasn't an easy.
Although Todd Hoffman and his crew were often criticized for their lack of skill and the constant setbacks they faced, their mining story was not without moments of success. Across the years, there were bright spots that proved Todd's gamble was not in vain. Even in the early seasons, when they were still learning the ropes, the crew managed to pull out enough gold to show that their risk had some payoff. Every ounce they dug up gave them new energy and reminded them that the dream was still alive. Todd's persistence stood out. No matter how rough a season ended, he came back determined to try again. This never-quit attitude earned him respect as someone willing to fight through failure. His biggest achievement came later in the show, when his crew struck their best gold totals. At one point, they mined more than 1,000 ounces in a single season, a huge milestone for a team that started with no mining background at all. For Todd, it was proof that his desperate leap into mining could bring real results. Beyond the numbers, Todd became one of Discovery Channel's most recognizable reality stars. Gold Rush turned into one of the network's most watched shows, and Todd's leadership, family ties, and daring choices were at the center of its success. Fans tuned in season after season because of his storyline, even if they disagreed with his methods. For Todd, the highlight moments, celebrating with his crew after a big gold haul, proving doubters wrong, were reminders that the dream was possible. These victories stood as balance against the constant setbacks and kept his story worth following. Family life behind the cameras.
It's just your wisdom. I can't say how much I appreciate everything that you guys have done today and going forward.
Away from the mining camps and the spotlight of television, Todd Hoffman has always been grounded in the family. He remained married to his longtime wife, Shauna Hoffman, and together they raised two sons, Hunter and Hudson. In interviews, Todd often said his wife and children were the reason he refused to give up, no matter how tough the risks became. Todd's father, Jack Hoffman, was equally central to his journey. Jack's failed attempt at mining in Alaska back in the 1980s had planted the seed that Todd later revived. On Gold Rush, Jack stood beside his son, giving advice and offering the strong family bond that fans connected with. Their father-son partnership gave the series many of its most heartfelt and memorable moments. Todd's eldest son, Hunter, eventually joined the crew in later seasons. Outspoken and independent, Hunter didn't hesitate to question his father's decisions, which sometimes caused friction on screen. Their disagreements reflected the real challenges of mixing family and business under constant pressure. Hunter later stepped away from the show, choosing to carve out his own path. In recent years, he has continued exploring opportunities tied to mining and outdoor ventures, while building a life away from his father's fame. Todd's younger son, Hudson, took a quieter path. Though he appeared briefly on the show, he never became a regular part of the mining crew. Today, Hudson keeps a private life, with little known publicly about his career or personal direction. Shauna, Todd's wife, has also stayed mostly out of the spotlight. Viewers often describe her as the steady presence in Todd's life, supporting him quietly through failed businesses, the highs of Gold Rush, and the uncertainty that followed. The Hoffman story shows that Todd's mining career was always tied to more than gold. It was about securing a future for his family, passing on a spirit of adventure to his sons, and honoring the dream he inherited from his father. Even though their lives were shaped in front of reality TV cameras, the family has worked to keep their unity beyond the glare of fame.
Parker, how you doing, man?
Not too bad, how are you?
All right, man.
How's your summer going?
For viewers at home, Gold Rush often looked thrilling, but the reality behind Todd Hoffman's journey was far from glamorous. Gold mining is brutally expensive, and season after season, Todd's crew found themselves pouring in more money than they ever got back. Broken machines, unforgiving weather, poor ground, and goals that were almost impossible to reach became a constant pattern. There were seasons when the team walked away with only a small fraction of what they had predicted, not even enough to cover their expenses. That habit of aiming too high and falling short soon became Todd's trademark struggle. Critics accused him of chasing dreams without solid planning, and even loyal fans began to wonder if his leadership was doing more harm than good. The guilt hit even harder because many of the men working with him had left stable jobs and their families behind. Every wrong decision cost them too, and Todd carried the burden of knowing their futures were tied to his choices. Some walked away disappointed, while others stayed and endured the losses. At home, his wife Shauna quietly shouldered the weight of financial uncertainty. Each new season carried the same question: would it finally bring profit or just another year of debt? Though Todd had moments of success, the bigger picture told a harsher truth. His mining career was marked by inconsistency and crushing setbacks. For every victory, there seemed to be 2 defeats waiting around the corner. Being the face of Gold Rush meant Todd Hoffman was constantly under the spotlight, and that spotlight wasn't always kind. While some admired his faith and never-give-up attitude, many others slammed him for unrealistic goals, poor planning, and repeating the same mistakes over and over. Over time, that criticism became as much a part of his reputation as the mining itself. Fans often complained that his crew jumped from one site to the next, leaving unfinished projects behind. Online debates lit up forums and social media. Some people saw Todd as inspirational, while others dismissed him as reckless and unprepared. Even seasoned miners criticized him, saying he had a television platform but lacked real skill. On top of that, controversies swirled around the show itself. Viewers questioned how much was authentic and how much was staged drama. And since Todd was the central figure, he took the brunt of that backlash. Todd later admitted that the constant negativity sometimes got to him. He had to juggle the expectations of millions of viewers, the demands of Discovery Channel, and the crushing reality of keeping his crew afloat. He tried to focus on the bigger goal, providing for his family and giving his team a shot at success. Still, public opinion always cut both ways. To some, he was the symbol of the American dream, and to others, the reason his crew kept falling short.
Hey, you made it. How we doing? Good.
By the close of Season 8 in 2017, Todd Hoffman stunned fans with an announcement no one saw coming. He and his crew were leaving Gold Rush. For viewers who had watched him since the very beginning, it was nearly impossible to imagine the show without him. After all, Todd had been one of its founding faces and a driving force of the entire series. But for Todd, this decision didn't happen in a single moment. It was the result of years of mounting pressure, financial struggles, harsh criticism from the public, and the emotional burden of carrying a team season after season. While there were flashes of success, the setbacks seemed to pile up faster, leaving him exhausted and drained. He admitted openly that he was burned out and could no longer keep up the demanding lifestyle, not for himself and not for his family. Todd also made it clear that he longed for new horizons. Reality television had given him a platform and recognition, but at the same time, it had boxed him in. He spoke about craving more time with his wife and kids, about chasing other business ideas, and even exploring his passion for music. For his crew, the announcement was a mixed moment. Some felt a sense of relief, finally stepping away from the endless grind, while others were saddened to leave behind years of effort and memories. Fans too reacted with divided feelings. Many had spent seasons criticizing his choices, yet they couldn't deny that his leadership and determination were part of what made Gold Rush the phenomenon it became. Todd walked away without the fortune that many had expected him to find, but with a legacy that sparked both admiration and debate. Some saw him as a man who dared to dream big, while others questioned the decisions that led to repeated failures. His exit was more than just leaving a show. It was a sobering reminder that chasing gold often comes with heartbreak, and that even on television, dreams don't always glitter like the metal itself. So, what's your take on Todd Hoffman's journey? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like, share it with friends, and subscribe to the channel for more stories like this. Before you leave, check out the video on your screen. It's the next story you won't want to miss.